Hi, welcome. This is All Things Laser Earrings. My name is Diana. I run All Things Laser Earrings, and I love sharing tips and tricks and creative ideas to make truly unique earrings. So we can all buy the same files but end up with a completely different result. And today I'm going to be talking about acrylic basically. A lot of people start, when they start making laser earrings or laser products, start with wood, and it takes them a while to get into acrylic. And I really want to encourage you to start using acrylic right away. Acrylic is so much fun, and you can really express your creativity, like who you really are, like the colors that really reflect you. Like you can let your crazy shine a little bit more with acrylics. And there are so many acrylics out there in the market right now. So, and they keep coming out with cooler and cooler acrylics. I am always like, I want all of them. It's that's the only problem, is that you start getting a little bit addicted to all the acrylics that you find. And you're gonna ask me, where do I find my acrylics? My favorite places by far are Custom Made Better, CMB Acrylic. They're always coming up with really fun stuff. They have like different sizes. I like that you can get, they have a lot of bundles, so you can buy like a bundle of smaller acrylics, which is great to like test things out, see if you like them. I'm always testing out different designs, so I like being able to experiment without having to buy a huge sheet. Um, and then Smoky Hills also has some really nice acrylic on patterned, pattern, they call it pattern ply. Um, so I would say that those are my two favorite. And then there's Houston, which is also really good, and Ceruleum. I just haven't built the habit of using them as much, but they are both great companies too. And I've bought acrylic from them before and have zero complaints. The only place you should be a little bit careful about is Amazon, because there's cast and there's extruded. Go for cast. Sometimes the quality of the stuff you get on Amazon is not great. If it's it's always a little bit stinky when you cut, but if it's extremely overwhelming, you maybe should not be cutting that acrylic. There might be something in there that you shouldn't be messing with. So always keep that in mind. All right, so what are we talking about today? Today is more like an exercise of creativity, right? Where we talk about what actually goes well together, what to think about when you're mixing and matching acrylics. Um, Not everything goes well together, obviously, right? So it's a good exercise to come up with a couple of files that you really enjoy, that you think are really fun. Let me take my phone out of the way. That you think are really fun, and learn what actually looks good together and what doesn't look good together. Basic rules. In general, if you're going to do something shiny and you have a double layered earring, you want to pair that with something that is a little bit more matte, or rather, not even just shiny. If you have a very busy acrylic, you want to pair it with something a little bit matte. Like here, you have this, which is a very holographic type of acrylic. And then if I put something holographic on top, for one, that one is just blends in. But bad example. But if I put this shiny one on top, it's a little too much. It's a little too much bling in your eye, and it's a little hard to look at. So it's always good to try and pair it with something that's going to be a bit of a contrast. I think this works really well. For example, this pink, it's like a lighter color, and it pops. So you're always trying to make sure that the acrylics don't kind of eat each other up, and they have enough of a contrast going on that you can see both layers. So, for example, in this one here, even though they're both like obviously matte acrylics, um, you need to have a difference in color, right? So this is the pink with the purple on top. I think it looks really good. And it's always a good idea to cut a bunch out to see what looks good. So the purple with the pink on top will look good too. If you want to go a little bit more Halloween-y, I think this looks really good. The purple with the orange on top. And this is like a little bit, but because they're both like the general rule, it's good to have colors on kind of the same tone. So they're both a little bit more in the pastel area. So they complement each other really well. So you want complementary colors and complementary tones. Um, Although you do want contrast too. So those are the things to keep in mind. Uh, so yeah, so we talk about like really busy. So like really busy acrylics, which are like here, here, and the holographic are better if you pair it with something that is a little bit plainer so that both of them can shine in their own way. Obviously, this is more of like a light with a dark. Looks really good. And here too, the light with the dark. This one looks really awesome. It almost looks like the spider is like floating on the web, and you can just see a little bit. This is like a jelly acrylic. So it just has a tiny little bit of sparkle on it. This is the holographic one again. It actually is very strong this way, but you can flip it around and it's got a little bit less strong if it has the clear layer in front of it. You can put the, anything that is a little bit more matte will look better on it. I think this is a little overwhelming. I think maybe this bow got a little bit overwhelming. But like, for example, if I put this mirrored on top, it's a little too much. It's hard to see really. Like if you're going to do a mirror, if you really want a mirror, it's better to have it on top of like a matte black, like here. So basically, it's kind of dying a little in this light. Interesting. So you can see both designs really well without them kind of canceling or blinging each other out. Once again, so you can just try out with your colors. Obviously here I'm like going more with that retro vibe. I love Halloween. I'm not like huge on being scared though. I don't really like horror movies, so I'm like doing more of a retro kind of Halloween, seeing what looks good. I'm not sure this pumpkin, maybe it's a little too big too. I needs to be a little bit smaller for it to look good. But I really like the spider on here. Once again, the pastel spiders. I like the skull and crossbones on here. And the skull looks good too. But you notice I'm always trying to make sure I have a contrast going on. And that's what's important. Like here, this will look, I don't love this color combo, but if I was going to do a mirror, it's better for it to be on a matte. And I just suggest you grabbing some of your acrylics, deciding on one or two designs that you really like, and just cut out some different colors that you think might look good together, and then testing them out. And that will really start training your brain as to what acrylics look really good together. A lot of people are doing neutrals right now are really, really pretty. And you'll find what it is that your brain really likes and what looks good to your eye. And then very quickly on gluing, like how am I going to glue these? This is actually, especially with this one that has a lot of it's holes is the it's a holy design. And if I have something on top and these are a little bit bigger, I would actually probably use 3M for these. As much as I don't love 3M on smaller pieces, I think these are big enough to justify a 3M. Because this is this design is not so straightforward to glue onto. Generally, I always advise putting the glue on the piece that you're going to glue on. But in this case, because you have this spider web, I would suggest very carefully putting it in the areas, if you're using regular glue, very carefully in the areas that this is going to be on top. Or basically very, very little. Make sure you put a very thin layer of glue on your piece that's going to be atop, and put it on the bottom layer so it doesn't like glob all over the place. And in general, I would probably do 3M for these. Had I been thinking about it, I would have made these in 3M. Otherwise, the rule of I like to use Starbond Medium and I like to use Gorilla Gel Glue. The rule is Starbond is great because it's instant, but the problem is that it can react to see-through, anything that is like a see-through acrylic or with glitter, transparencies, mirrors. You can't use Starbond Medium because you can get a reaction and you get kind of like a milky area which you cannot get rid of. So for that, you use Gorilla Gel Glue. Let me just turn around and just give you a visual. These are the two glues I'm talking about. So this is instant, but is not great for like glitters, mirrors. It'll eat the gray level, gray area of the mirror, or transparencies because it can leave like a murky residue. This is not instant, but it works really well with acrylics that you're concerned you don't want a reaction on. You just have to glue it and wait. But it is gel, so you have to just put a thin layer, very, very thin layer. And there is a different video on glues, so watch that video if you need a little bit more advice on how to apply your glues. And also 3M, which I don't have here, but 3M is like a double stick tape that you put on your pieces before you cut them. And then when the laser cuts it, it also will basically, imagine this, but it's a double stick tape, and then you just apply it directly. My only concern with double stick, with 3M on this, with using double stick tape, is that there will be bits that will be showing through, and I would hate for like fluff and stuff to get stuck on them. So that would be the only reason why I wouldn't use like the 3M, because I don't want random junk gluing onto the back of the earrings. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, like I said, if you have any more questions about glue, there is another tutorial on glue. If you have any questions in general, please ask below. I love getting questions, love answering back. And if you want to join a really supportive community where we do a lot of tutorials where people share what they're doing, please join me on Facebook at All Things Laser Earrings. I love sharing tips, and I love people when they share their projects, and we can all support you. Thank you so much for watching.